spots. We're winding down for our first trimester. So we have 3 trimesters where there are 3 entry points, so people can enroll in new programs and qualifications, or they're generally getting to halfway through their year if it's a year-long program. So we have, it's very timely me coming on, we have an information evening at WIT this week.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so on Thursday evening from 4:30 through until around 6:30. People can come down, talk to tutors. So it can be somebody that is already enrolled in a program that starts at the end of July, and they want to meet some of their tutors. They want to have a look around so they can get asked some questions. Or you're thinking, I hadn't thought about going to WIT, or that they had programs in July. Maybe I should go down and have a chat with somebody about something that I might be interested in, because there are a lot of programs that are starting in July.
I think it's a really good time of the year, because July is winter and a lot of people are kind of reassessing what they're doing, and it's very common in New Zealand to just go and try something new that they haven't tried, to go out of their comfort zones. And I mean, not necessarily to be a child to do this. You can be an adult who want to go through the barista course or through some other hospitality courses, and 3 intakes per year. It's just going towards what people want, basically.
Definitely. And there's a lot of opportunities out there for fee-free study as well. And so there's one area called TTAF, which is the Trades Targeted Apprenticeship Funding. And so there's quite a few programs under that where that finishes at the end of this year. So the last opportunity to enroll in those, if you're not eligible for your first year of study free, is July. So you would need to enroll in them then. And so that's all of the trades area.
So who funds it? Is it like privately funded or
No,
government funded?
it's the government. So it's the Tertiary Education Commission that put these initiatives in place so that industry and areas where there's a high demand for need for staff, try and encourage people to go into those fields to study so that they can meet the demand.
What are the requirements to be able to enjoy this free education?
So for the TTA, if it's just the specific programs, the programs are all level 3 programs, so pre-apprenticeship programs, and they're open entry. So
anyone can go, whatever age, whatever education level?
Doesn't matter.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's a few different things that we have on offer where, and a lot of people don't know. So if you've never studied in tertiary before, your first year of study is free. And so that's a wonderful initiative. So that's the first port of call. If you've already studied in tertiary before, and you want to go and you're having a change in career, or you're thinking about doing something different, or you've been away because you've had children and you want to come back and think about doing something, then something like the TTAF is a great option. And as I said, this is the last opportunity to enroll because it stops at the end of this year.
Interestingly, the media chose to focus on fees free for uni students, some of whom don't need it. But actually, fees free was designed for all the scenarios you just spoke about.
Yes, absolutely.
Largely the trade sector.
Yes, definitely.
I would like to praise you for your innovative. What's correct word? Warwick? Innovative or innovative?
Innovation.
Yeah, innovation approach to teaching your students. I've seen your food caravan around, which was powered by kids, and I mean, most of them who study, they'll work for someone, and some of them will own the business later on. And what better opportunity? Something like a food caravan. They can go to an event and be the owner of a business for one day, and there is no obligations or something like that. Tell us more about what you do around this.
Our food caravan is called Te Waka Kai, and we started that up last year. And it's been around the Maunga, actually, so it's utilised for marketing purposes. So we go out and promote with our marketing team. We take students along to help support that. We've, in some cases where students need a little bit of extra support, have employed students through as student and casual employees.
Oh, wow.
So over summer to be able to support that project, which is a great opportunity for students to build up their confidence before they sort of step out into the big wide world. So we've done some teaching out of Te Waka Kai. We took it down to South Taranaki to Opanaki last year and taught barista classes out of it. So I took the food caravan down there. And the nice thing about that is then the students, as part of their assessment, got to make drinks for their classmates. And so they got to have those.
This is a tough judgment from like your own classmate.
We've had students come in, and I know that Warwick, you've had some students come in, and that we've come to Sacred Heart as well with Te Waka Kai. We've got a new coordinator chef in place there. Her name is Sally. She's amazing, and she's actually out at Parihaka today. So her and one of our students is out there and been making coffees for the festival that was out there. And I think they kicked off at 5 a.m. to make coffees for people.
This is what hospitality is like, right?
I think
it is.
The Te Waka Kai is just one of the symbols of the state of health of wit, which is very strong. At the moment, from a stakeholder perspective, it's pretty full, I believe.
Yeah. In some areas. So, one of the things that we're going to talk about today is hospitality and the struggle that hospitality is going through. And this is nationwide. It's not just indicative to WIT and the low student numbers that we have, because people don't see it as a viable career option. So I really would like to chat about that.
Yeah, I'm keen. I was in Queenstown a couple of weeks ago visiting QRC, which is the Queenstown Resort College, not competition of yours really, because it's adventure tourism. Also hospo, and hearing from the staff there, the businesses, even though Queenstown is still flat, they cannot get hospo staff. And we went to the Hilton, so I'm not talking front of house and chefs, just those trades. I'm talking, according to the Hilton manager, across the board, hotel management staff and hospo restaurant staff. Sure.
And part of that is because the borders haven't been open, and WIT's a tiny player in the whole scheme of international students, but it's not until now that you realise the gap they were filling as far as employees out in the hospitality sector. And so with WIT alone, we had a couple of hundred international students with us at a time.
Add on another few at PIMS.
And that's just Taranaki. It's not anywhere else in the country. So, that's huge. And that hole is massive now. And, just the other day I saw some prominent businesses in town who are having to, because of illness with staff as well. So there's COVID still out there, but they don't have the backup staff either to be able to open. So they're limiting their hours, they're lessening their hours, which is a real shame.
It used to be that hospitality careers were not a career. It was like something to fill the gap before you decide, before you think, before you study. But now it's not, because with the opportunities that internet and digital media gives us, a lot of chefs become their own bloggers or their influencers, and food is such a great media to talk about and to show, to connect with other people. So being in food actually doesn't mean to be in the least payable kind of a society level, right, anymore?
No, not at all. And, people are paying more now because there's such a demand for people. I don't know if anyone has seen, and I'll get you to share it actually, Alina, on Facebook, is one of our ex-students, Neris Whelan, who was in our winning Tote Dior team when we went to comps in 2015. She's been out in the big wide world. She was a pathway student, actually. She did Trades Academy and then pathwayed all the way through. Amazing woman. She's written a book and has just won an award for that. She's involved in and going to be moving back to Taranaki because she's been up in Auckland. And running a business, which is very exciting. So
once she's in, you and her can come to us again and talk
absolutely.
about it.
Love to.
What school did she attend?
She was at, you put me on the spot here.
Too long ago.
Yeah, too long ago. Can't remember. Yeah.
So what are the careers in hospitality in demand at the moment?
Barista.
Yeah,
very high demand for barista, chefs, just anything and everything. Yeah.
Do you think that the situation will change when the borders will totally open and everyone can come in and just fill the gaps?
I think when travellers can come on holiday, so it's those holiday workers coming on their OE, absolutely. But unfortunately, the industry, hospitality industry chefs are not on the green list, on the short-term list for employees. So, which is a real shame because that puts people off. Well, you can't get into study, you can't get a visa if you want to come and study because it's not deemed as an area by immigration that needs to have that. Yeah.
Maybe we should unite our voices and talk to the government.
Except that if and when tourism, and they're trying to ramp up tourism into more of a higher spending tourist this time, it's a reset, I read, will be dependent on having staff. If there's no service, they'll have a terrible experience.
And if it is a bad service, we are not in the upper socioeconomic range, so it is really important for all of us. So these 2 years are really tough for everyone, and hospitality was hit the hardest. I feel so much for the owners and for people who work in the industry. What do you think is the long-term effect of COVID to the industry?
I think it's made people more resilient. I think it's not over yet. I think there's a lot going on in the world that's still impacting on hospitality. The price, and I think people don't realise the cost of food and the increase in that. Canola oil that we all use, a 20-litre canola oil used to be $40-something, and it's now $77.
Oh my gosh!
It is just ridiculous. So it's just a matter of thinking and realising it's still happening.
I think it's as you said, it's resilience. It's also adjusting to a world where disruption is kind of normal. Because it's supply lines and shortages and inflation and spikes in labour and other that we talked about before, other services.
Yeah.
Also, I think it also made people who are the bosses, the business owners, to value the staff more, because suddenly there's a shortage and you realize that skills can be easily replaced, and something that WIT does continually develop the level of people in the industry is also quite important. And you can't replace skills with anything. You can't talk people into something that they don't know nothing about.
That actually has shown us that the employability skills that we've always talked about and always valued, and sometimes not valued enough in the secondary system, I have to say, those who have those are the ones who have prospered. Because they're flexible, they're resilient, they can adapt, they can change, they can hold out until they're ready for the next step.
We think that we're really hopeful that July for WIT is going to have a lot of people sort of going, right, I'm ready to get out there. I want to get in there and do something. I want to study, and a lot of the programs are designed and set up so that there's plenty of time to work as well. Especially in hospitality, we plan it around that because we know how important it is for people to be working and earning and to support our industry. So, we have 3 day a week classes, work experiences included in all of our hospitality programs. And so being able to be flexible as well for people. And if they're meeting outcomes on the job that are outcomes of the qualification, there's that air of flexibility there as well for us, where we go individually sort of look at somebody's learning plan and go, okay, well, you're working 1 day a week in industry and you're doing this, and this. Actually, we can come and sign you off because you're doing that.
Awesome.
Yeah, so there's so many things. We had to become diverse and really flexible.
And don't you have a broker situation where you link graduates or near graduates straight into employment?
Yeah, we do.
Across all schools?
Across all schools. We have somebody new within our trade school who's working because of the big projects that are happening around the region, specifically to the trades side of it, especially with the hospital and that side of it. So Katrina has started with us at WIT, and she's been involved in the sort of trades area for a long time in a different company through the apprentices. And very, very fortunate to have her on board with WIT. Yeah, it's wonderful.
So Warwick has been a member or a part of the boards or different educational organizations all over the country, I believe. And as an educator of Sacred Heart Girls High School, he sent a lot of students towards you. So Warwick, will you share with us what happened with those students? Are they happy? Are they unhappy? Did they run away? What happened?
That's a good question. So it used to be about, I would say, when did Trades Act start? 7 or 8 years?
Oh, a long time ago.
More than that?
I've been at WIT for 10 years and it's been going since then.
Okay, so it was quite unusual for a student to be out of school, to be somewhere else during the week. And there was opposition sometimes from staff and from parents and families. Now it's mainstream. So we have a good chunk of our students who spend part of the week at WIT or at TOPEC or at a place of employment or anywhere. So the ones at WIT, so the listeners might not know, there's 3 ways our students can go to WIT. There's STAR courses they run in year 11, they're just a taster. There might be 1 unit standard and a few credits. Year 10.
And year 10, start year 10.
So the idea is that at age 15, young people are starting to think about if polytech or tertiary education is for them, they can go and check it out. So then if they decide that it is, they can go back in year 12 at Trades Academy, which is 1 day usually. Any 2-day ones? I don't think so.
For the
Trades Act?
Trades Academy. I know there's a couple of 2-day ones, and we've also got a 4-day one. We have our Boulder batch, which is a 4-day trades one. That's right. Under Trades Academy as well. So there's a bevy of different ones.
So mostly 1 day, mostly level 2, but there's
mostly.
And then if they decide that they wish to carry on in year 13, they go to what we call 3+2, which is 2 days at WIT and 3 days at school. And a lot of those 3+2 courses come with a New Zealand certificate. So cookery, for example, New Zealand certificate in cookery.
Food and beverage, we do fitness and makeup, skincare and makeup.
So does it mean that you are not finished, you're not finished with school yet, but you already get towards your professional career?
Absolutely.
So when you finish school, you can just go to employment with them?
You can go to employment, you can go to a higher level.
It's a hybrid.
I wish we had that, because in nowadays it was really, really structured. This is school, this is your own thing, and this is now all blended.
So we'll talk about 3 young ladies who hope to get in today for various reasons. We're not able to make it. I say this honestly, I hope no one minds me saying, but they're nearly run out of steam at school. So they've got what they need from school, and it's a little bit of a struggle, but they're hanging in there. There's the ball and there's other social rites of passage that are important. And in some cases, there may be 1 or 2 subjects that still are important for them. But essentially, and I saw this when I went up to a lunch recently that they cooked for all of us teachers, they were in their element. They were in their full professional chef's dress in the professional facilities at WIT, which are high standard. And they saw, oh, here we go. This is where they're really on fire. Back at school, it's day by day getting to the end of year 13.
Angela,
so that's how it goes.
Is it a big difference to start to teach kids who are just at school, or adults who already been somewhere, did something, and decided to change their career into hospitality?
Yeah, there's always a difference. The 3+2 students are year 13 students, so they've been through the full school system, and academically they are quite high achievers because they've got through to year 13. A lot of our students who are in full-time programs school might not have worked for them, and they've dropped out, and were young, and then they've come back and they're in their 20s, and they're like, right, I want to do something, and I can do this, and I'm really interested in being a construction worker or a chef or whatever it might be. And so, from that aspect, we have a lot of wraparound support for those people, because they didn't do well at school. They're coming into an environment that's academic as well as hands-on. But honestly, WIT has so much support and pastoral care for people who are second chance or coming back in, around their literacy and numeracy, just all of it. We're so fortunate with what we have at WIT.
It's been the biggest leap that I've seen, is understanding. Firstly, bringing in STP, secondary tertiary pathways, might have prevented them dropping out if it was there when they were at school, but it wasn't. So now we've learned that you can't just say, okay, there's a great course at WIT, it's free, here's a pair of boots, go for it. It's not enough. They've already failed in education. So they've got some baggage, and there's some issues, and so that the wraparound care is essential, and as you say, it's done really well.
We're going to listen to the music soon, but the last question I was going to ask you before the music is, kids went through the free education at school, and now they're offered free education somewhere else. Do you think that it kind of devalue the value of education, or do you think it's opposite? It gives a chance to those who would never be able to reach it otherwise?
I think it gives opportunities for people who would not have thought. It's a lot of money.
Yes.
And people don't realize how much it costs to run a program. It's massive.
It
It's
is.
huge. And what people also don't realize is that the government pays money as well. So the actual course, so let's say we're talking about a 15-week food and beverage course that is $3,500 fees. But in behind that is also money that the government pays to help pay for that, for the staff, for the facilities, for the resources, all of it. It's huge.
We know university degree costs a lot of money. Yes, the fee's free in the first year, but you've still got to pay after that.
Yeah.
But once you're in, it's easier to see that you're investing in yourself. And in fact, you're still only paying around 30% of the cost of it. The government's still paying
definitely.
70%.
That's right.
So-
And Māori Pacifica trade training, which I haven't talked about, is also still available. So if you're Māori or Pacifica, it's also, if you don't fit into the TTAF funding, or you don't fit into the first year of fee free, there's also support around the MPTT funding scholarships as well. So jump on the website, www.wit.ac.nz, and have a look.
Or write down a comment under this show, and we will readdress it to our beautiful Angela. Let's listen to the next song. Don't Stop Me Now. I love this. My son loves Queen, and we watched the movie about Queen. This is so awesome. You can put your things on, and we will show it on the screen.
You won't need so many.
Oli, do you like Queen?
Don't stop me.
Yes, no.
Yes.
This is an easy question.
You don't have to.
What movie?
Movie that one?
Bohemian Rhapsody. Have you seen Top Gun?
I kind of
Is
resisted
it good? We're going to go tomorrow.
It's just,
Is it?
it's just
Oh, I can't wait.
phenomenal.
We're going tomorrow. I'm very excited.
Which one is that?
Top Gun.
Top
Gun.
New Maverick.
I won't ruin the story for you. I'll just
No,
say that the production is incredible, but the way that they've honoured the first film is really good,
Oh, good.
and the acting is excellent.
Oh,
Look at that.
It's just
This is so artistic.
yeah.
it is an art.
Yes, it is,
Yeah,
because
yes.
presenting food is
I've got
an
my
art.
Christmas napkins that I have.
And so you know that the actors were in the planes. It's all real.
Yes, we watched that documentary actually.
Yeah.
We watched that. It was amazing.
So I learned they didn't fly them. So they're all two-seater planes. So someone else was flying, and then they just CGI'd that person out. But they were subject to the G-forces and the noise and the terror and everything
Wow.
else. Yeah.
So, Angela, we will talk about this, and also would
This
you
is
like
my
to talk
hobby.
about the Chefs Association?
No, we're not doing a lot in that
You're
aspect.
not?
No, it's not happening at the moment for Taranaki, unfortunately.
It was so
Although
sad that you had to cancel.
I'm heading to the Hawke's Bay next weekend. I'm chief judge at the Hawke's Bay comps, and we're not running them this year, but I can talk about that and why.
If you want.
Yeah.
If you want.
But
So you're the
But they're
chairperson of
struggling.
Taranaki Association. No, who's now?
nobody's
Nobody.
nobody at the moment.
He
Alex
resigned.
was. He resigned.
Oh. So it's just in a bit of a hiatus.
It's just everybody's just so busy, and it's the same around the country.
Yes.
But they've teamed up. NZ Chefs have teamed up with the Restaurant Association, and so their nationals are in September. There's a big forum on, so it's a bit of a collaboration between the two associations,
I get
which is really good. We can talk-
invites
we
for
can
the
talk
online events, but
Mm.
it was said that the previous events were
Yeah.
cancelled because this was a
Yeah.
paga.
I know,
So much preparation.
I know, yeah. So, yeah, but anyway, yeah. But there's still some strong people there. I'm still a member, absolutely still a member, and
It'll come back.
everything. It will,
Yeah,
it will.
it will,
And
definitely.
Everyone's just trying to survive.
Yeah.
yeah, and then people are sick and people don't want to
Yeah.
plan things, and so next weekend, there's a risk of, there's a few people coming to judge, and then you've got the risk of a couple of people being sick, and then you don't have enough judges. So it's just yeah, it's a tough time for people to plan, like anything, I guess, at the moment for everybody, really, isn't it?
Welcome back to Taranaki Foodies on the Most FM, the tastiest food show on 100.4 FM. It is us, Alina Williams-Warwick, and our beautiful guest, Angela Ferguson, the chairperson of the WIT Department of Hospitality. Is that correct?
Lead.
The lead.
Hospitality lead.
Yeah. So while you were listening to this beautiful song, Don't Stop Me Now by Queen, which was chosen by Angela, she just presented a beautiful platter, or a, I don't know what to call it, because this is so artistic. I would call it like
What is it? A cheese grazing
plate?
yeah.
Yeah. Something that you would create for the picture, being painted and with all this black surroundings. This look like this is ready for an oil picture to be painted on. I can see bay leaves, some succulents for decoration.
Yeah.
It's
some
funny,
fern.
isn't it? Like
I've got this thing for succulents, food, or not to eat.
to display garnish.
Yeah.
This look is relatively recent, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it's sort of the
It's
theory.
the grazing table.
Yeah, the
look,
grazing
where
look,
there's lots of stuff and a mixture of things.
And it's sort of sometimes combos that you never would think of, but they
No.
somehow work.
Yeah.
So it's very cool.
Yeah.
Grazing tables are really good for coming and just looking first and just finding things or colors that you're attracted to.
Yeah.
Maybe some fruits, some vegetables, sometimes something dry.
Yeah.
What is there, Angela?
So I love preserving, and so we have a very small garden. We're not in a massive piece of land where we are. So we have a retaining wall garden, but it's very productive, and I grow things that I can preserve. So cucumbers always do really, really well. So I always make cucumber and mint relish, and tomatoes. Our tomatoes always do really well. So I've got lots of herbs as well, because I just like to have herbs on hand and utilize those at home. So grow things that I know we're going to eat and I can use. So I brought along, and I can't take the credit, actually, I have to be honest. Tony made the chili and tomato jam. And so he's been really getting into that, actually. So we have chilies grown, their own chilies, our own tomatoes, and it's delicious. And make lots of sauce, and I love it. I just love it. And I don't do it to sell. I just have a cupboard that's full of them and gift them to people. They're great presents for
It's
people.
a cool little thing about you, Angela.
Oh,
And the time is 4:35, and I have posted a picture of the beautiful platter on the Taranaki Foodies on the Most FM Facebook group, if you would like to have a look at that and
Well done.
comment about it, perhaps.
so the other thing was that, cheese from down at Eltham. And if you are passing and you've never heard of it, you're not sure, pop in, because there's always something on special.
Is it
relish,
from Fonterra? Is it?
yeah, it's the Fonterra Kapiti, or the cheese shop. So there's a bit of Kakarangi Blue, there's some Swiss cheese, and there was a smoked cheddar as well. And I made some crackers, so they are no carb crackers, so gluten free. So
Really good for diabetics.
really easy, really easy to
So
make.
what's the flour? Because they look.
It's almond. Yeah, ground almonds. And so it's rosemary, ground almonds, egg, butter, and a bit of salt. And then I like a little bit of texture, so I chucked in some linseeds. So,
Wonderful. Honestly, this is so perfect. I don't want to touch it because this is
Please
so
do.
beautiful.
Please do.
When you
Please
shared
do.
your tracks and your pictures of your prep, I was like, oh no, she's making chocolate chippies, and I don't really have a sweet tooth, but
No.
it's, what did you say it was? Almond based.
Yeah, it's an
Rosemary
almond based. Yeah,
crackers,
rosemary.
right?
Yeah, rosemary and linseed crackers.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And homemade pesto?
That's actually my latest version, because I ran out of mint in the garden, and I'm just like, people love the cucumber and mint relish. I make it every year, and we had so much basil. I just threw some seeds into the garden, and they just went crazy. So I thought, right, I'll try the cucumber with basil instead of mint, and so you're getting to try that. So that's a cucumber and mint.
That's right. Look,
Yeah, please.
Awesome. And then we will have a review from people who tried it.
So there's a little one each, a little package each.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
Angela, while they're trying,
Yeah.
can you please answer my question?
Sure.
Who is your ideal student? And if you imagine someone who will come through the door and you look at them and you say that, hey, this person is going to be a student of it? What is it? What this person looks like?
I think the ideal student is the one that turns up.
Anyone who comes through the door is the ideal
yeah.
student.
People that turn up. That if you attend,
You're more likely
and
to
you will be successful if you're there. The support that's there for students is phenomenal. Somebody that wants to be there, somebody that's passionate. But it's hard to. I honestly don't think I became a really passionate chef until I was in my early 20s, where the light bulb went off around, where food comes from and growing it and going, wow, look at this truffle and that sort of thing. I remember that when I was living and working in Australia, actually. And I'd done my chef apprenticeship and everything. I loved it. I really enjoyed it. It was a fantastic time, but my passion for food and interest in the different varieties and types and where it's grown didn't happen until I was in my 20s. So to expect people who are coming in new, it's very few people that are really passionate like you are, but it comes.
I must admit, your passion to food is very contagious because when I met you first, I was thinking, this is a tickle of excitement. This is the right person I'm with, and this is really, really exciting. So tell us, what are the closest events? What's happening in Wheat in the closest future?
We have our Impressions restaurant, which is open. And if you jump onto the WIT website, there's all of our events for the rest of the year, actually, our dinners and lunches and things that we have happening.
So just for people who don't know, Impression Restaurant is part of the WHEAT curriculum, and the kids study. So you go and you be a guinea pig, and they study on you how to sew, how to cook, and other things. So you're not only eating on a fracture of price, but you also help local students to grow their skills.
That's right, absolutely. So, I went to a dinner the other night, a set menu dinner, and it was wonderful. It was really, really nice. I know, Warwick, you've come to some lunches and things, and the quality and the standard of the food is excellent.
I would never forget this Alaska bomb that I had once there.
Yeah.
This was like immaculate. It was worth like a 5-star restaurant. It was really good too.
We've got a schools open morning as well. So if there's any secondary school students out there, that's on Friday actually. So I know that students can register with their careers advisors and through the school and come along, and we've got workshops running around the whole of WIT. So they can choose 3 areas that they'd like to go and have a bit of a taster of to see if it's something that they might be interested in for either their secondary tertiary pathway journey, where they might want to be interested in Trades Academy next year, or they might be looking at coming to WIT full-time next year to study.
Is it your open day you're talking about?
It's a school one only, so it's schools are invited, so it's not open to the public. That's on Friday. But Thursday is our open afternoon and early evening for people that want to come along. And so jump onto the website, Facebook page, and have a look at that, because come down and there's just might be something there that you just didn't realise that we were offering, and go, I didn't know that. And hospitality is a great option. We've got a level 3 bakery program starting in July. We've got food and beverage level 3. We've got a level 4 cookery program. So it might have been that you did level 3 a few years ago and you've just been off doing whatever, and you're like, actually, I wouldn't mind upskilling a little bit further.
Bakery is back in fashion. The same as the house plants. It's like everyone is into bakery now.
Yeah.
Just all the fancy celebrities are doing bakery in their full makeup.
Exactly.
So do we have anyone who's ready to do the yes, so the first person who is doing the review is Nathan, and Nathan, he's the social media manager, and he's my friend, and he's going to talk about Angela's Food.
Well, I think like most people, going into a supermarket and taking a good look around at what they have in there to buy. And something I've noticed recently, sort of a new sort of innovation in food, is the crackers that they come out with now. They're beautiful crackers, and lots of them have just got tons of grains and seeds in them. I even noticed they've got a Vogel's cracker now. Yeah. And these crackers, I mean, they just have that same look and feel. I mean, they're just sort of complex and sort of really tasty, like.
Wow,
good.
This is
They're really easy to make. So I will do the recipe up and you can put it on the page. They were so easy. You sort of don't be afraid to try. And they might not be quite right the first time, and they might not be even. And I've made them several times, so you know you
I have never done crackers. I would try your recipe.
And all you do is you put the ingredients in a food processor, crack a couple of eggs into it, tip it onto a piece of baking paper, and put another piece on top. Roll it out flat, and then you take the sheet off. You mark it to what you want it to be as far as size and shape, and then you bake it. It's so easy, so easy.
All right, is the second reviewer ready?
Yes, right. I had both of the
Chili and tomato,
jam,
yeah,
chili
chili and tomato jam, yeah.
and the basil and cucumber
yeah.
spread.
Yeah.
Delicious, both of them. Tony did a good job there.
On one of them.
Yeah. Obviously, cheese. Okay, to tell you, you might not know this, Angela. My grandfather worked for the New Zealand Dairy Board, and he was a cheese inspector.
Oh wow!
And
such a job, cheese inspector. I love that.
So he would travel around Taranaki dairy factories back when there was 157 of them, or whatever it was. Now there's one, and he would test the cheese. So back then it wasn't quite as many delicious ones as there are now, but as a child we were raised on cheese plugs, so like a core that they would pull out. So we'd get the surplus bags. So us boys are all cheeseaholics. So
Nice.
I can say that all of those cheeses that you chose there are delicious and go really well with what you provided. Onto the crackers. As I said, they look a little bit like chocolate chippies. But they're delicious. It's
not chocolate, it's rosemary, right?
Yeah, rosemary and
linseed, yeah. Texture is sort of soft but firm enough to hold what you want to put on it there. So yeah, I'm liking those. Well done.
If you wanted them really, really crispy, you just cook them a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, we have two different intakes about this platter, and now the third one by olive oil. Let's listen.
Yeah, as Nathan was saying, there's a lot of new kind of like healthy looking crackers, and I've tried a couple and I haven't liked some of them. But these ones are really nice. They have a really nice texture, and they go really well with the cheeses, and they just taste really good.
Great, thanks, Ollie.
And they are very, very healthy for those who are gluten-free intolerant. Or those who are diabetics, they can have this.
And cranberry chips?
No, actually, they're freeze-dried nectarine and peaches.
Really?
Yeah.
Another healthy addition. Oh, awesome. I think it's a perfect time to listen to the third song, which is called Your Man by Josh Jr.
Yeah.
Good.
Lover's voice. So deep.
Yeah. And also it's kind of a range. Yes, so he has a low parts and quite a high parts, and this is like amazing.
Have you heard it before? You
Sure.
need to listen. You need to hear
Yes,
it.
absolutely. And also, when you listen to a voice like that, you think this man is so skilled. He can do something in the kitchen and somewhere else in the other department, which a low voice suggests.
No, I do like country.
I love country. I wanted to be a country and western singer once.
You'll be a great one because everything you do turns out really well.
I love it. Yeah.
I think it's also very current because Zoom generation millennials, they're pickers. They like to with their hands, and also they like to pick food rather than have a full meal like we used to have. And also I've noticed that a lot of restaurants are kind of attending this. Like if you go to any restaurant, there is a burger there, and sometimes there are several burgers and things, something that you can pick up from the plate. Platters are huge and other things.
Yeah.
What's your favorite discovery recently in any restaurant? Did you find something exciting? I can tell you mine if you want. It's also the picking
You
stuff.
tell me you.
It was a deep fried baby octopus.
Oh,
Octopi.
yeah.
Yeah, so they're also quite crunchy but healthy because it's seafood. Of course, you don't eat it every day, but it's very pleasing and it's very nourishing at the same time.
Yeah.
Crunchy. So
Yeah.
this is actually from this Liadet project at Vietnam Nom.
That's where, and that's we've it's become a Saturday So Tony finishes work at lunchtime, gets home, let's go out for lunch. And so we've been going down to the Liardet project, and I love their rice noodle salad, just fresh and light. And I had duck one a couple of weeks ago. It was so delicious. That's probably my most lovely experience, actually. Sitting there, Tony has a craft beer, and it's lovely. It's really nice. Yeah.
Yes. Wow, we're coming close to the end of our show.
Oh my gosh, it goes quick.
Yes, we've been talking for 50 minutes. Normally we do it for 30, but it was. So please don't be shy. When next time you have someone to send us, you can send people from your food caravan, of students and the tutor.
Yeah.
Just we will always make space for you, even if we have a guest. We will.
Okay, I'll do that.
Because it kind of a nice reach. Some people will hear it on the radio, some people will see it on socials. And, our group is over 500 members, and it's not the hugest group, but they're very active, and foodies are.
It's the basis of everything, I think. never be without a job.
That's right. Yeah.
And life skills, just the life skills of being able to cook.
Yes. And I discussed it with my son. I said that I don't want him to be dependent on someone for essentials. Like, I want him to be with someone whom he loves because he loves them, not because he needs someone to cook for him or clean for him or do something like that. This is like a self-sufficient survival skills.
Yeah, that was a good pick, Angela. I've just looked him up. Josh Turner, he's from South Carolina. He's 44 years old, and he is married to Jennifer, and they have 4 sons. And do you know what their names are?
No.
They're unusual in a typically American way. Hampton, Colby, Crawford, who goes by the name of Marion, I don't know why, and Samuel, who goes by the name of Hawk.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah. I think he's got an amazing voice. A friend played it a couple of years ago, and I hadn't heard it, and was just like, wow. That's amazing. Bit of a country and western fan. Much to my brother's disgust.
He has. There's a place for country music. It's honest music.
I love it.
He has released a lot of albums. I'm just checking out his studio albums in the 2003, and since then another 7. So he's quite prolific, isn't he?
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming, for sharing your food and sharing the wheat news, because we always wanted to support the local education. And now we're going to take some selfies and post them on Instagram and Facebook. Tune into 100.4 FM every Saturday at 4 p.m. Remember, there is a live recording of the interview online on Taranaki Foodies group page. And meet you next Saturday. Bye-bye, my gourmetarians and gourmet knots. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you. Lucky day.
There we go.
Awesome. Thank you, Angela. You're great as always. I always know what to expect from you.
My pleasure.
You can take this back. I'll just take a couple of things with me.
No, I'm not taking that with me.
Oh, what about your succulents? You can use them.
No, I won't use them. I'll leave you with the rubbish, but I'll just take my place and that. But I had no intention of taking that away. It's in a cardboard box.
We'll have to fight over it.
They're totally delicious. I'm totally happy with you.
Nathan might want to grow the succulents.
Yeah,
totally.
they grow really easily. So there's the lid for the thingy one, and I'll put, what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4 of you.
Oh my god. Oh.
There you go. Preserves, you can fight over those.
Oh, sorry for being late.
Hey, there you go.
You can share some of our later. It was really, really nice. Oh, tell me the recipe. I'm definitely going to cook it for my husband because he loves chips. He's diabetic.
Which one? Oh, the crackers.